Okay, guys, what I'm doing is explaining to you about attachment styles in relationships, or what happens when we're born and we are born into a family, and due to circumstances and how we're brought up, we'll experience our first early memories of attachment styles are very much imprinted into us in the first few years of our lives. And that means that we will play our attachment styles out in adult relationships in all different ways, when basically not just generally one attachment style. We might be playing a few out, but if we don't have a secure attachment in childhood, and not many, I think looking around me, not many people have had absolutely security in childhood, but it's really worth understanding the different types. So that means that we can heal any wounding that's going on and understand the people that we're getting into relationship with, and also, if we can, get them to acknowledge maybe where they are at, and then we can begin to heal relationships with others that are close to us. So what I have here is a couple of slides I'm going to read, and then I'm going to show you a little book that you can get to begin to solve some of your problems around trauma and anxiety and complex PTSD. Okay, so attachment theory in adults: close relationships, parenting, love, and divorce. Indeed, it is clear how these attachment styles in childhood lead to attachment types in adulthood. Below is an explanation of the 4 attachment types in adult relationships. Examples are, let me see here, examples, the types, styles, and stages. So we go through different stages as well. So we have secure, we have avoidant, we have ambivalent, and we have disorganized. So the adult attachment styles follow the same general pattern described above, which, this was an article I found, and I'll put the link below as well. Secure attachment: these adults are more likely to be satisfied with their relationships, feeling secure and connected to their partners without feeling the need to be together all the time. Their relationships are likely to feature honesty, support, independence, and deep emotional connections. So let me just a bit more on that. I would say that, so this doesn't have to just be in intimate relationships. Like, I know that I've got friends in my life where I experience secure attachment, but I can tell you that as a child, I did not have secure attachment as a child. Then we have dismissive avoidant or anxious avoidant attachment. One of the 2 types of adult avoidant attachments. People with this attachment style generally keep their distance from others. They may feel that they don't need human connection to survive or thrive, and insist on maintaining their independence and isolation from others. These individuals are often able to shut down emotionally when a potentially hurtful scenario arises, such as serious argument with their partner or a threat to the continuance of their relationship. So, you might see that you've done that as well. I've certainly have done that, but not so much, in my later years in my own life. Then we have anxious preoccupied. So we've got, or anxious resistant attachment. Those who form less secure bonds with their partners may feel desperate for love or affection and feel that their partner must complete them or fix their problems. While they long for safety and security in their romantic relationships, they may also be acting in ways that push their partner away rather than invite them in. The behavioral manifestations of their fears can include being clingy, demanding, jealous, or easily upset by small issues. So you might have experienced, again, that in a few of your particular relationships. We've got to remember, we're not just stuck in one, and that a lot of us did not have secure attachment as a child. And then also, I'll give you an example, as an anxious preoccupied, which I've definitely been at times in my life, then if I choose somebody who's a dismissive avoidant, then clearly it's going to be a bigger problem. The anxious preoccupied becomes more outstanding, becomes more obvious. But if I was anxious preoccupied and I form a attachment to somebody who's got secure attachment, that person might teach me to feel secure, and then I wouldn't be so anxious preoccupied. So we can begin to see how this evolves and works in reality. Then we have The last one, which is fearful, avoidant, or disorganized attachment. The second type of adult avoidant attachment manifests as ambivalence rather than isolation. People with this attachment style generally try to avoid their feelings because it's easy to get overwhelmed by them. They may suffer from unpredictable or abrupt mood swings and fear getting hurt by a romantic partner. These individuals are simultaneously drawn to a partner or a potential partner and fearful of getting too close. Surprisingly, this style makes it difficult to form and maintain meaningful, healthy relationships with others. And that's by Firestone 2013. So then I'm going to go to the next slide. Let me see. And each of these styles should be thought as a continuum of attachment behaviors rather than a specific type of person. So we've got to remember this. It's not a specific type of person. What we're describing is not a specific person. It's basically how we, are integrating with each other. Someone with a generally secure attachment style may on occasion display behaviors more suited to other types, or someone with a dismissive avoidance style may also form a secure bond with a particular person. So therefore, these types should be considered a way to describe and understand an individual's behavior rather than an exact description of someone's personality. Based on a person's attachment style, the way he or she approaches intimate relationships, marriage and parenting can vary widely. The number of ways in which this theory can be applied or used to explain behavior is compounded and expanded by the fact that relationships require two or more people. Any attachment behaviors that an individual displays will impact and be influenced by the attachment behaviors of other people. Given the huge variety of individuals' behaviors and relationships, it is not surprising that there is so much conflict and confusion. It is also not surprising, although no less unfortunate, that many relationships end up in a divorce or dissolution, an event that may continue an unhealthy cycle of attachment in the children of these unions. So you can see the webpage there. I'll put the link below where I got that bit from so that you're able to see that. And that's in the video. I'll put it below the video. And then here's a little poem I'd like to read by somebody called Jeff Foster. And, poem or prose, but you do not heal from trauma. You simply come to know yourself as life itself, and you turn towards the wounded place, and you flush it with attention, which is love. And maybe the wound will always be with you. Maybe you will always walk with the hurt, but now you hold it and it doesn't hold you. You are the container, not the contained. It doesn't control you any longer, the wound, because it is drenched in awareness now, drenched in you, loved by you, even celebrated by you. You do not heal from trauma. You find healing in the trauma. You find yourself at trauma's sacred core, the one who is always present, the one who can bear even the most intense feeling states and survive, the indestructible one, the infinite one, the powerful one, you. And that's really positive, because this is the truth. What happens is initially in our healing, we might be seeking outside ourselves to, we'll get involved in relationships or, and we've all got a 5-year-old inside us, our inner child. And sometimes we'll get into a relationship and we'll expect healing from a partner. And that partner also has a 5-year-old unhealed inside of themselves. So the more we have the psychoeducation, the more we're able to handle ourselves and begin to evolve our early wounding and make better choices. And then also, we're more likely to meet people as we do the psychoeducation, where we'll be drawn to people where we actually discuss these things and don't bypass them and don't overlook them, and speak about, not only our healing our own trauma, but how we interact and how they're healing theirs as well. And then something else with our thoughts and our thinking, that's a very useful statement, particularly with what's going on now in the world, that I don't have to believe every thought that comes into my mind. So a lot of us right now are going through a lot of different thoughts and processes and not understanding what's going on in the world. So if we can just come back and get grounded and remember that we do not have to believe every thought that comes into our mind, just let the thoughts come and go, just be gentle on yourself, particularly as we have this lockdown and then we have protests going on around the world. And the next slide, this is quite uplifting. You are allowed to outgrow people and jobs. You are allowed to use your own voice, think your own thoughts, dream your own dreams. You're allowed to distance yourself from anything that doesn't motivate you or help you grow. You're allowed to choose who has a say in your life and who doesn't. And you're allowed to change the terms of your life according to your own conditions. You are allowed to start doing things that please you, and you're allowed to do things because you want to, and you're allowed to be free to be who you are. You're allowed to see the world using your own eyes to paint, you're using your own brush and using your own colors. You are allowed. So that's something. And then the next slide, we are here to bloom. This is a beautiful flower. Picture a friend of mine took. So we are allowed to bloom, and that's why we are here individually and collectively, to bloom and become the best versions of ourselves. This book I would like you to look at. You can go to amazon.com. I'll put the link below again. Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving will help you if you've had a traumatic childhood, and that can be verbal, physical, sexual. You know, it's not one or the other, and one is not worse than the other. To a child, all trauma is serious. And then this is a book that I'm going to be looking at. I bought it years ago, but I've just picked up a copy, and this is useful for people that a lot of us go on about codependency and stuff, but this book apparently doesn't have the word codependency in it, but it explains, you know, a style of love that can get us into trouble and sort of hold us up and stop us living our lives. So this is a book I'm going to be looking at in due course. And I think that's it. Here's some general advice on myself. I've got $20 till the end of June. And these are the things I do here. You can stop the video and have a look what it says. I've got 4 options to give you: general advice, astrology chart reading and lessons, and complex PTSD learning and healing, and tapping as well, which is something I do. So I do my meetings on Zoom. Here's my disclaimer, which you can read as well. And if you want to email me, I answer all my emails. It's Penelope Ryder, RYDER, at outlook.com. That's it. I'll be back with another video later. And thanks for watching. Thank you.